What's up, everybody? I'm joined by Steve Sanders for our Cloud City Star Wars
Mhm.
CCG overview. We're going to talk about this set, the good, the bad, and the ugly. People had a lot of feedback for the last few videos, so we're going to try to add in a little bit more of the good, the bad, and the ugly, as well as the context. What was going on? This came out in November 1997.
Mhm.
Steve, what was the top song in America and why in November 1997?
Top song in America was "Candle in the Wind" by Elton John. This is uh, the redo where it's about Princess Diana because she died in August '97. That was all people were thinking and talking about all fall,
So,
all autumn.
yeah. Well, you were probably begging your parents for Star Wars CCG
Hmm.
packs. Your parents were probably buying the Princess Di Beanie Baby because
Oh
that was
man.
the ultimate collector item, the purple one that everyone
Hmm.
was like, gotta get
Wow.
this dead royal lady's Beanie Baby because this will be worth something. I don't know how that played out. I don't think it did, but we're here to talk about Cloud City.
And yeah, and for CCG context, Magic the Gathering Tempest came out 1 month before in October, which is like a really iconic Magic set. So this is I think, a pretty good time for CCGs. I think Star Trek's doing interesting stuff with First Contact around this time too. So yeah, this is a rich time in CCG history.
Yeah, I think you have a ton of games right now. It's sort of that golden age. There's
Hmm.
like Pokemon's not quite out yet, by the way. I think
Nope,
Pokemon
not
came out
yet.
in '99. So like you still have like a lot of experimentalism happening in like the late '90s with games, all
Yeah,
sorts of weird stuff. But this is a good set. They've
yeah, it's a
finally
good
kind
set.
of coming off of lagging with Dagobah. It's a 180
Hmm.
card set, 80 rares, which is quite a bit to be honest for
Yeah,
collecting, and then 50 uncommons, 50 commons.
right.
Price tag of 250, which is interesting because I think the last ones were 299, right? Didn't we? We have a price.
Dagobah began the 9 card packs for 250. Yes, they were
Okay.
like $299 $3 for Premier, New Hope, and Hoth. Then they dropped it down to 9 card packs at 250. Um, this is also the first set that does not have a white bordered unlimited edition. With Dagobah, they did print a white bordered unlimited edition. Probably wasn't necessary because Dagobah was never like a set that was hard to find. And I think they realized by Cloud Studios just like this set is so easy to get booster packs of. It never sold out because it was printed in such large volume. Because the game was at its peak of popularity, so they're just churning out cards. No reason to make white borders of this. I think even until the day this game went out of print, when the Decipher lost the license, you could still pick up booster packs at any local game store.
Yeah, I mean, this set was printed to oblivion. I also think the booster boxes having 60 packs instead of 30
Yeah,
packs made a
right.
difference.
Mm-hmm.
It meant there's a lot of product out there, and there still is. You can pick up a Cloud City box today for 250,
That's not
$300,
bad.
which
Yeah,
might actually come out to roughly the MSRP times inflation calculator. I don't know. It's like,
maybe, yeah. Although I
yeah,
will say, like right when the game went out of print, you could like they're giving this stuff away. I think it's like $10 to $20 for a booster box of this at one point. But
yeah,
no,
it's
this is
like,
a
can
good
you
set.
please store this for us? We don't want to store this anymore.
Yeah, basically, like get this out of here. Um, Also, this is like a randomly weird thing, but with Dagobah, I don't know if you ever noticed the cards feel different beginning with Dagobah and Cloud Seer. They're very glossy, like extra slick. So much so
Mhm.
when you open like a pack of this, they'll like slide right off across your desk. I don't know what it is about extra coating or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, Premiere always like whenever I open even new Premiere, it feels like old.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a rough texture, the first three
yeah.
sets.
So this set introduced some new personalities, namely Lando and
Okay.
Boba Fett, as
Mhm.
well as some really good versions of really good version of Han, the
Yeah.
Leia's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, you have a cool poster,
Hmm.
and there's some great sort of like tech red cards in there, and
Oh
we'll get
yeah.
into this a bit more. I think from a pack opening experience, this is a really like it's either good or it's wait, where's my rare?
Yeah.
That was my experience many times. But I was like, wait, where's my
Sheldon Vi? What?
yeah. So maybe that's a little hint at what
Yeah.
we're gonna have on the next list here. So
Hmm.
Steve, you want to do the good here?
Sure. I first off want to say the visual design of this set is amazing. Like these first two cards, Boba Fett and Bespin Cloud City, are partially on this because these are like gorgeous cards. Like I don't know what they were doing with early Photoshop, whatever photo editing they were doing, but they took the film stills and they really touched those up. So they're like works of art. The colors just really pop on this set, much more so than in the first couple Star Wars CCG sets. I just love the way those two cards look. There's other cards too, the ones that are not so good. They just, mechanically, they just look fantastic.
Yeah, I actually have a buddy that he took the Cloud City images, I think the light side and dark side, and like got them made into a little poster, like a little.
Oh, cool.
They just look great. Like
Yeah.
clouds look great.
Mhm.
I do agree this is like a really pretty set, and
It is.
the choices.
And part of it's the
Unreal.
art design. Obviously, Ralph McQuarrie's work on this part of them, and the whole trilogy, but particularly in the Cloud City scenes, is gorgeous. But Decipher's artist did a great job touching it up.
Yeah. But these are just pretty images. These are
Mhm.
also like Uncontrollable Fury, I think still is played today.
Yep.
Maybe
Yep.
in open. I'm not super, but like it's a cool card. Smokescreen's a cool card.
Yeah.
Ability. And these are all like well designed, thoughtful, useful
Mhm.
cards that aren't like OP that do something that fix a problem in the meta. So like these are just like great
Yeah.
design with cards.
They were able to quickly pivot from the problems of Dagobah and fix a lot of those problems in this set. So I put Boba Fett's on the because he's a really cool card. But ability is an example of a well done magic bullet. It's trying to basically counter two kinds of decks. One is your numbers deck, the kind of Dagobah style deck that doesn't really run very many characters and really penalize those kinds of decks. The second is like just a deck that's relying on a couple of main characters. So if you're not playing main characters every turn, you're going to start losing a lot of force. So I think that's a well thought out idea. I kind of try to focus the game on battles and getting out characters. And Smokescreen is just, they've kind of figured out how to do battle interrupts correctly in this set. Card interrupts that are quite impactful and could turn the tide of a game. Uncontrollable Fury, it's finally they found a way to penalize you for running Darth Vader. Basically, like before this, there's really no downside to running Darth Vader and as many copies as you could.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like the meta at that point was like Vader is the best card by far, right? And
Yep,
you needed to
yep.
counter for Vader.
Yep.
I mean, Captain Han could also be on the good side.
Yep, sure. I'll put Captain Han on this list. Yeah, absolutely.
There's really like a lot to like. I would say like proportionally speaking, there are more cards that are playable here than in the previous four sets, save maybe
Definitely
Hoth, right? Like I think like
maybe right.
30 to 40% are like pretty interesting still, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But the bad, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't click or doesn't work.
Yeah. I got Carbon Freezing and Bounty on here because these are cards that you want to work. You want to love them because they're iconic ideas or elements of the movies. But Carbon Freezing takes it's okay. I'll say they're trying to figure out ways to funnel you in certain directions in the game to make the game have structure. So, right, like one of the criticisms of the game is that it's just mains and toys. There's not really doing as many Star Wars things as you could. So, like, they're making these kinds of cards, and this just doesn't work. It requires too many other random commons and uncommons, like Ugnaughts, Carbon Chamber Console, the Sight, to all come together. You got to capture something. You got to bring them over, and then if you can freeze them, the opponent loses a bunch of force. But it's just you're not going to pull off that like 6-7 card combo to make that work. That's a shame.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this game is hobbled by also the phases of like your turn phases, right? Because there's so many things where it's like, then you have to move them, and then during your next control phase, and then during your deploy phase, and like it just ends up being a lot of turns, and your opponent's just absolutely clobbered you. Like in the 4 turns it took you to move or like deploy, move, be in your control again, it's like you've lost.
Yep.
And I think that's a broader critique on a lot of stuff. And as you play with the game more, it's like you're really hobbled by these phases. It's like certain stuff happens in control or draw phase or whatever. And Bounty and Carbon Freezing are both impacted by that.
Bounty is similar. It's a little easier to pull it off, I guess, but it's also way less impactful when you score the bounty. So unfortunately, those are key parts of the movie that they never quite get right. And I will say that this idea of making rewarding you for doing Star Warsy stuff. They do finally get that right with objectives in 2 sets from now that we'll talk about. But here, not quite. Clouds is up here because this is unfortunately one of the broken cards of this set, particularly when you the light side version. I guess the idea is they needed to find a powerful enough incentive to get you to come into the clouds, because otherwise, why would you run this random common sector or do anything with this? But the force run bonus is really, really high, particularly if you put it at a location where your opponent can't easily interact with you, like in Dagobah. So unfortunately, this created the Dagobah Clouds abusable deck, which is not good, which is why in the Retro League we've been banning Lightside Clouds in the Premier to Cloud City modified format.
Yeah, and then the last one we have on here is Lando.
Yeah.
Lando's just in a world where Lightside revolves around having these cool main characters that are powerful, your Obi's, your Luke's, your Leia's, whatever. You could have had another tool here, right? A good Lando. Instead, you just have a crappy one. He's just not good. Like, you might throw him in, but like he's not really memorable. Like he's not like that much better than like Boshek or something.
Right. Well, I mean, kind of worse than Boshek because he has ability 3. It's a shame because like Lando's the coolest dude ever. You're waiting for 2 years to have him show up in the game, and he's just like kind of a not very good card. And the dark side one is probably worse. It is cool. It is cool. There's a dark and a light version. The mechanics are kind of wonky surrounding how they one crosses over from the other one. It's a kind of a problem. At least I think those rules have been changed. But a bit disappointing.
That kind of gets us into the ugly a little bit. It's the rules bloat. We're not trying to beat a dead rules horse here, but like having a light side and a dark side Lando just added in like a new paragraph you had to read.
Yeah.
Understand how. Wait, can I have my light side Lando if my opponent has a dark side Lando out? Will this ever even matter? Right? Will this ever, or is this just like a paragraph of like cognitive load that you need to take on as a player, so you like or call a judge over or whatever? And it's like that increase in like rules bloat, and then that leads us to this like Sabacc, which it's just I don't want a game.
It's a game within a game. It's basically a variant of blackjack that you're playing with Star Wars CCG. You're going to have to pull out the rule supplement, figure out how it works, and it's also pretty abusable. So that's going to go in the ugly for us. And unfortunately, the Cypher doesn't get the message on that, and they make like 4 more versions of it. There's like there's Jabba's Palace Sabacc, or is it Dune Sea Sabacc? Are those different? And then there's like Trooper Sabacc, and they make a bunch more.
It's just also the thing about like all these cognitive load things is like if you're playing Sabacc, your opponent is not. Their deck is not optimized for it. They probably don't know the rules, but you do. And therefore, like you're at a disadvantage, you're at an advantage because like you're like my entire deck is built around beating them at Sabacc, and like they're gonna have to call over a judge to get the paragraph long scroll out to figure out how this even works. And it's just like it slows down the game. It's a bad play experience. Like if both players are going in with like knowing it's Sabacc, it's like the Senate or pod racing. Like if both people are going to be pod racing, that's cool. If both people are playing the Senate, that's cool. But it's that asymmetry that I think makes this game kind of lame. And Sabacc is like the beginning of that, where it's like one guy is just doing his own thing, and then you're trying to like do Star Wars stuff.
You're right. Decipher in Star Wars and Star Trek CCG in this 90s era, they're really trying to do fun, silly, out-of-the-box stuff, and just they're kind of like explore the design space to the max. And some stuff works, but this is not one of them, in my opinion.
But overall, what would you give this set on like a grading scale? Like let's go A to E.
It's in the B range for me, a solid B, I think. I remember being very excited about the set when it came out. One thing we didn't mention is they also had a tournament format for this set. I think it was called like Return to Cloud City or something like that, where Decipher ran an official tournament series for a few months with kind of achievements. They gave the tournament directors a list of achievements, and you're supposed to track these achievements over the course of your day at the tournament. And if you got a certain number of achievement points, then the TD was supposed to give you extra booster packs or something. I remember going to one of them. It was really fun. It did include stuff like carbon freezing and bounty that were hard to do. But it was cool. I liked that format. And it kind of previewed things they do later with objectives, I think.
I think it's a fun, creative time. I would give this set like a B. I think
Yeah.
Dagobah was a C minus,
Yeah.
right? And this is like a B. It's like you're going in the right direction.
Yes.
And we got, I guess after this, we have Jabba's Palace, which we can save our thoughts for, but I think
Yeah.
it might be a step backwards.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. This is a good set. I'm never unhappy to open a pack of it on the rare chance I'm cracking packs. And yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, and we will catch you guys later.